Let us let us begin our little time together. So a brief mini workshop into working with, tending with, and releasing the solar plexus. So let us just take a moment to arrive in the space. So just leaving everything else behind, whatever else has happened during the day this morning already. So just taking the focus inwards, and maybe just taking a couple of breaths out, and you can do that in any way that feels good for you. Just arriving into the body, into the space. Taking the breath into the heart space, and just allowing that to just really gently open with the breath. Beautiful. And just feeling into those sit bones that are touching the structure beneath you, and maybe just have a little bit of a wiggle round and just see if you can take up a little bit more space. Just open the pelvis, open the hips, open the glutes just a little bit so the bum cheeks are taking up a little bit more space. Beautiful. Okay, so welcome to this little mini workshop, which is around tending the solar plexus. So the solar plexus is both an energy center, a chakra, and it's also that plexus of nerves. So it's positioned just below the heart space. It's part of the conception vessel, and it's also part of the motherline. It's about self-worth, self-belief, personal power. And for me, there's a big piece within this, which is about undigested emotions. So it's a big place. It's not the juiciest of places. It's not working with the higher chakras. It's not working with the roots. So it feels to me it kind of gets left by the wayside a little bit. But since I decided to do this workshop, I've just seen solar plexus everywhere. I'm seeing it everywhere. So that just suggests to me there is like a real importance to be working with this space. So today I'm not going to take you through a set of rote instructions and moves. That's not what this session is about. This session is about feeling into and working somatically with the body. So it's about developing skills to listen with our hands and really listen to the tissue. So we're not pushing, we're not forcing, we're working slowly. We're encouraging our hands to sense what is happening with the tissue and allowing the tissue to actually guide our hands. So we're moving our awareness from the head space into the body so that we can receive that wisdom from the body. Now, I just want to say, with the solar plexus, because it's often is holding so much emotion, it can feel really tender to the touch. So we're going to go in really, really gently. And actually, if all that you manage on this session is to hold your hand in this place, then know that that is enough. So there is no requirement for you to move beyond what your body feels comfortable with today. So this is a practice, and this is the reason for me recording it, is so that you can go back to this practice time and time again. This is not going to fix your solar plexus in 20 minutes or 25 minutes. This is about openings, beginnings, and learning to work somatically with the body, which is really the juiciest way. It's the gentlest way. It's the softest way. Somebody else came in there. Did I put them in okay? I can't see them yet. So the invitation is to work within your boundaries, to not transgress your own boundaries, and to work with a softness and a slowness. And if emotions arise, as much as you can be with those emotions. So the key really is to listen and work with the emotions that arise if they do, rather than kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't quite cope with this. So just rather than squishing it down, which is kind of what we've always done, because emotions aren't always welcome, this is the opportunity to actually feel into, listen, and hear the body. So if it feels safe to do so, I want you to get yourself into a comfortable position. And my suggestion is that you're kind of just leaning back into something. So this area is kind of like nice and open and it doesn't feel too kind of scrunched up. So you can kind of lean back or you can lie on the floor. If you're lying on the floor, then my suggestion would be just to lift the knees up so the feet are flat on the floor, so that it just softens the belly and we don't have that rigidity, and it's going to support the lower back. So just find that place of ease and comfort in your body. And the invitation is to lower the gaze or close down the eyes, close the eyes if that feels safe. We lower the gaze, bring the awareness and the breath inwards. So you can just kind of like follow my words, or you can watch what I'm doing, whichever feels good. But we're just going to begin by just rubbing the palms of the two hands together. So we're just activating those two little heart chakras in the center of the hands, getting a little bit of warmth, getting a little bit of activation, or we can take the breath into the palms of the hands and activate them in that way. So let's begin by just placing one hand over the solar plexus. Going nice and gently, nice and mindfully. So just placing one hand or both hands over the solar plexus. And there's no need to change your breath, but if you find you take an inhale and a exhale through the mouth, just let that be. So we're not chasing any goals, any desires, any need to rectify. We're just developing that practice to listen. And maybe just say, hello, how are you? I'm sorry that I've maybe not tended to you in the past. But I'm ready to listen. And just Noticing just with this touch what arises, whether emotions arise like sadness or grief or anger, irritation, and just allow those emotions to arise as they need to. Noticing if we yawn, we're just discharging that energy. So that's all good. We're just processing the energy that we're feeling. And then I'm just gently moving the hand from side to side. So I'm just sliding my hand over gently from side to side and just feeling into where the tissue is calling for my attention. So we can bring in both hands if that feels good. And just have the fingertips right in that center place. And again, just go really mindfully and gently, particularly if it feels tender. And just feeling in with the pads of the fingers, so not the tips of the fingers, but the pads of the fingers. So these pads here, not the tips. And just feel if we can just get a little bit of movement in there. Can we get a tiny little bit of depth? And if the answer to that is no, then that's fine. Just be with whatever is there. Just try moving the fingers down a little tiny bit. So you're kind of like working towards the edge of the rib cage. So my rib cage is here, and I'm just taking my fingers just slightly to the left and just feeling in with the pads. Just softly, softly, softly. And then I'm just feeling into just around and under that beginning part of the rib cage on the right. And then I'm just going to circle nice and gently. And as I say, if you follow what I'm doing, that's fine. Equally, if your body is already taking you on your own journey, then that's equally fine. Just please feel into what your body and what the tissue is calling for. And then I'm just going to really gently, with the kind of the pad of my hand, this space here, I'm just going to gently stroke down from the solar plexus down to the belly button, then circle the hand back and come back again. So I'm just starting here, coming down, circling around, and then I'm just going to add my other hand, maybe to get a little bit more depth. Just circling around. Being with whatever arises. If at any point you feel you need to come back to stillness, or you need a little bit of support from your heart space, then please take that invitation from your body. If emotions come up, just release that through the breath or through some movement through the body. Just feel into what the body is calling for, what is going to be supportive without judgment, of the self in this moment. So I'm just going to start circling down from the solar plexus to the belly button. And then bringing the hand back, the fingers back. And then coming up again. And again, I'm just using the pads of the fingers, seeing if we could get a little bit of depth. And then maybe we can use the thumbs just to do that movement. So again, from the solar plexus to the belly button, bringing the fingers back. Maybe we do a little bit of a rock from side to side. If you need to stop at any point or just hold the spaces with the fingers, with the palm of the hand, with the heel of the hand. Maybe the womb space is calling for your attention. Just feel it into what your body is calling for a little bit of support in this moment. Letting those emotions arise if they do. Maybe it's just tenderness. Maybe there's experiences that you've had which are coming up in your mind. Maybe there's experiences of when you were a child and you were maybe shut down or not heard or not listened to. Welcome it all in with curiosity, with love, with compassion and kindness. Keep on coming back to this holding space if you need to. Maybe a hand on the heart, high heart. Maybe the throat. So really what I'm encouraging you to do is to feel into where your fingers or your palms or your hands are being drawn to work on your body. So that might be kind of all the way across the rib cage. That's right, nice and gently and softly. There is nothing to be gained by pushing too hard. And if you find that is what you're doing, just maybe notice and see whether that is a pattern. But can you allow your body wisdom to show you where it desires to be touched within this space of the solar plexus? And within that, the kind of strokes and movements that feel good, that feel supportive. When we're working in this way, we're working with the fascia. We're not working with the muscles. So the superficial fascia, which is just below the skin. And we're just maybe gently encouraging a little bit of space around the rib cage. underneath the rib cage with the tips, the pads of the fingers, just so that we can maybe feel into just releasing the ribs and the diaphragm, so we can take a little bit more of a deeper breath. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Pads of the fingers just working gently under the rib cage. And again, just see if we can create a little bit of space between the ribs and the diaphragm. So that we can take that breath a little bit deeper. Coming back into center. And just allowing the fingers to do whatever they need to do, whatever that solar plexus is calling for. I know mine is very grateful for the touch. And every time I work with this space, maybe if I sit and reflect on what's arisen afterwards, and maybe if I do a little bit of journaling or some form of creative expression, I maybe get like a little juicy download, one of those little ahas, one of those little, okay, maybe that's what I've been holding on to. And then I might come back and hold this space while those little nuggets are dropping in, just to deepen that process. And just allowing your hands, your fingers to guide you exactly where they need to be. And there is no right and wrong. Even if we're taking really big circular movements over the whole of the abdomen, and that feels good, then that's enough. That is enough. We are enough. But really what I'm doing, just allowing the tissue to open and soften, so to create a little bit more space in this area. If you work energetically and you're used to kind of clearing out your energy spaces, your chakras, then feel free to just kind of get your hands into that vortex, that chakra, and just lift the stuff out. And when that's kind of like part processed stories, we're just clearing out the debris, clearing out the debris. We can do that with the hands. We could do that with the hands away from the body, and just gently pulling out any little tendrils, any little bits of emotions that are just waiting to be released. And we can just bring that up. I think you need just to bring that up into my throat space. So we've had all those emotions stuck down and we've not been able to verbalize or say what we needed to say, it kind of makes sense that we might be getting some of that stuck in the throat space. So I'm just gently pulling that out. Maybe you use Reiki and you can use some Reiki on these spaces. Maybe you like to use crystals. Maybe you like to use the breath. Just feeling into kind of like, when I do this practice again, what are the little allies that I need to bring in to make this a little bit more complete for me? And the way that I often do that is I just kind of have like a little glance around. I know what I'm going to be doing. I know the generalization of the practice, and I just kind of have a little look around, and then I'll just see maybe a crystal or a this or whatever it is. I'm like, yes, I need that. Yes, I will bring that. And I know that it's all part of the bigger picture. So we can just kind of like layer things up in a beautiful way if we desire, and if that's what the body is calling for. And this practice is never going to look the same. And maybe sometimes you feel called to do it when you're having a bath and you're nice and relaxed and the belly's nice and soft. Or maybe when you've had a stressful day and you're just kind of like, I just need to sit and be with this space and let everything soften and land and let go of whatever is not serving. So just gently bringing the practice to a close. Maybe having a little stretch and a yawn, taking any movements through the body. If you feel you need to get up and have a good old shake around, then please, please, please do exactly what your body is calling for. Mm. And just take a moment to really honor yourself for being here, for hearing the call for your body. Honor what has arisen and know that you will be back to be in this space again with this energy of the solar plexus. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the recording going actually, and for those people who couldn't make it live, but if you want to take yourself, I'm going to be here for like another kind of 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. If anybody has got any questions, anything that they want to share, yeah, anything at all, I'm really more than open just to kind of, even if you want to just kind of discuss what's arisen for you in that practice, I would really love to hear. So if you want to take yourselves off mute. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. And I hope this recording has gone okay because I'm still kind of tiny in a corner and I should be main screen if I'm the only person talking, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All is well. Okay, my loves, thank you so much for joining me, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Blessings, lots of love.